We are looking at section A, and it's on short questions. And remember, our section A is compulsory. So our question reads: are four options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question number. So on the first part of the question is the most suitable facility when exchanging rand for foreign currency. We have got major hotels, cruise liners, holiday resorts, foreign exchange bureau. So you see that the correct answer that we have is D, which is the foreign exchange bureau. And then we go to the next question, which is the capital city of Angola. And we know that the capital city of Angola is Luanda. So we have B as the correct response. So moving on to our question three. Our question three is the most important factors to consider when compiling a tourist profile. Uh, you'd see that the correct response that we have the factors of trip motivator, budget, dates, and length of tour is what is important. So we have A as the correct response. Then we go to our question four. Question four is valued items such as historic buildings that have been passed down from previous generations and form part of the history of a group or a nation. According to the response given, we are given heritage, diversity, tradition, culture. But the correct response that we have is heritage. So we have heritage as the correct response. So moving on to the next part of our question, which is going to be five. A person working in the hospitality industry should, we are given different responses that we have, but the correct response that we have is D, using be able to work well in a team. This is very important. Then we go to number six, which reads, the Fish River Canyon attracts tourists too. Obviously, we need to identify the name of the country where we have the Fish River Canyon, which is Namibia. So we have B. If a Gaussian passenger scans the QR code on the information leaflet, what is the correct response according to the responses that we have? I would see that we have got B. He or she will connect to the Gaussian website. So this becomes the correct response. Then we go to number eight. The annual National Arts Festival held in Dash draws large numbers of domestic tourists. The correct response that we have is B. Amakanda is the correct response that we have. Then we go to question nine. Question nine reads a tour that is planned to depart on a regular basis, regardless of the number of tourists booked on the tour. We have a C, which is a scheduled tour. Remember, it is scheduled because it is on a regular basis. So we go to number 10, an example of a below the line promotional technique. Below the line promotional technique, we have got a radio exhibition, audio visual display, a magazine. So the correct response that we have is exhibition, which is B. Then we move on to the next one, number 11. Advice to a person hiring a motor vehicle from a car rental. Different responses we have, but the correct response that we have is A. Check the vehicle thoroughly for any damage before leaving the rental depot. Very important to check it before you leave the rental depot, because if you identify it after, it becomes a problem. Then we go to number 12. These southern countries are bordered by the Indian Ocean on their eastern side. So according to what we have got Mozambique and Tanzania. D is the correct response. Then we go number 13. Should an emergency occur when traveling on the Gaussian? Should an emergency occur when traveling on the Gaussian? What should you do? This is the response that we have. We have D. Press the alarm button in the carriage. That's very important. Is the correct one. Number 14. A market dash is another name for a group of tourist customers who are alike and share same characteristics. So according to responses given, remember we are given volume, profile, sector, and segment. So we have a market segment, which is correct response that we have. We go to number 15. A traveler exchanging 32,250 rands for a business trip to Germany when the exchange rate is 17.46 will receive. So obviously we are supposed to say 32,250 and then we divide by 17.46. So if you divide that, you see that the correct response that you are supposed to get is 1,847 0.08. So this is what we have as the correct response, which we are having on B. And you go to the next thing. The South African Minister of Tourism is the South African Minister of Tourism is, we have got Lindiwe Sisulu, Bankole Kubani, and then we have got different responses that we have there. So we need to identify which one do we have, which is correct. So we'll find that the recent South African Minister of Tourism is Patricia de Lille, which we don't have according to responses given because of the question paper was written a few years back. So this is what we have. Then we move on to the number 17. A tour operator forms part of the Dutch sector of the tourism industry. So we have got the travel organizer, destination organizer, support services, commercial. So the correct response that we have is a travel organizer. We our travel organizer A. Then we move on to the next one, which is number 18. Dash forms part of the folklore of different cultures in South Africa. We have storytelling, cuisine, chiefdoms, traditional medicine. So the correct response that we have is storytelling. We go to the next one, which is number 19. A tour itinerary is a dash. According to responses are given there, I would see that it is a schedule including dates, times, activities, and accommodation for a tour, which is B. Which is our B, so we can indicate our B. Number 20, dash we assist employees in the tourism industry to improve customer service delivery. So we have B, which is our constructive criticism. We assist employees in the tourism industry to improve customer service delivery. So this is what we have. So B is the correct one. So that's the last question that we have on the multiple choice section. We go to the matching words section, whereby it reads choose a term in column B that matches the description in column A. So we've got a description that we have in column A that we have to choose a term that we are having in column B. So the first description is usually spoken with a slight bow and hands pressed together. So you see that this is a namaste. We have our D. So D is the correct response. Then 1.2.2, a term to describe any food that complies with a strict set of dietary rules in Judaism. We see which one is the correct one. Again, remember we've got a range of responses that we have going up to H. So you see that the correct response that we have there is H, which is the kosher, which is a term described attempt to describe any food that complies with a strict set of dietary rules of Judaism. So we have H, which is a caution. Then we have 1.2.3, a Japanese display of respect, remorse, gratitude, and greeting. So this is bowing, which we have on F. We go to 1.2.4, a large outdoor advertising structure. It is a billboard, B. Usually folded and only includes a summary of information that is promotional in character. We have a logo, which is our C. So C is the correct response on that one. So this is the last one that we have on matching section. So we go to the next part of our question, which is on 1.3. And 1.3 is choose a correct word or words from those given in brackets, right? Only the word next to the question numbers. So this is what we have. A flight from New York, USA to Rome, Italy is classified as a. We've got transatlantic and transcontinental flight. So the correct response that we have is a transatlantic. So we have transatlantic. So we go to 1.3.2. The Gautrain station that acts as a link to OR Tambo International Airport is Sandton Station. Number 3, a person with a limited budget wanting to book a cruise on a luxury cruiser liner should consider booking an interior cabin or suite. So the correct response that we have is an interior cabin. Then number 4, a person who requires insurance against damage to the windscreen of a rented vehicle when hiring a vehicle will consider We have WDW as the correct response. We go to 1.3.5. Biometric scanners are used are used at international airports to we have got scan. The options that we have is that scan passengers for COVID-19 or verify the identity of passengers. So you'll see that it is for to verify the identity of passengers. That is the correct response. Then we go to 1.4. 1.4 says choose a destination from the list given that matches the description below. Write the word or words next to the question numbers 1.4.1 to 1.4.5 in the answer book. You may only use a given option once. So that's what we have. So the first one is saying Namibia's most popular park for wildlife watching, which is also characterized by a large salt pan, is the Etosha National Park. So 1.4.1, we are saying Etosha. National Park. Then we move on to the next one, which is saying this popular holiday destination built in the Lesotho Malutiko Mountains offers a variety of water-based activities. So this is the Castor Dam. Castor Dam. So we can indicate as such. And on the next one, it reads this attraction is one of the highest concentrations of rock art in the world. And it's the Sodilo Hills, which is the correct response. So if you refer back there, you'll see that according to responses given, we do have that as our response, which is on this part. So we do take that one. So on 1.4.4, the world's largest man-made take along the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. This is the Lake Kariba. Then we go to the next one, 1.4.5, a luxury tropical holiday destination located off the south coast of Mozambique is at the Bazaruto Archipelago. So this is what we have on 1.4.5. And then we move on to the next section whereby we are having 1.5, which is the last part of our question. It is start the image of an airplane and the descriptions given. Identify the areas labeled 1.5.1 to 1.5.5. Write only the correct answer next to the question number. So we have got the diagram that we have here, and we have to identify what we have there. So on 1.5.1, it's certain flight instruments and we are supposed to identify the part that is highlighted. So remember, this is at the cockpit. So 1.5.1. We are saying it is at the cockpit, and then we move on to 1.5.2. 1.5.2, we can see that it's here in the written travel class section. So this section that we have here is the business class. So we indicate it as such. Move on to 1.5.3. So 1.5.3, we have the travel class section, which is the bigger section that is indicated here, and it is at the economy class. So we go to 1.5.4. Storage of chicken in baggage. It is a cargo hold. a cargo hold, so we can indicate it as such. We move on to 1.5.5. We are seeing that this is the storage of food and beverages that we are having on the lower part, and this is the galley. And this marks at the end of our question. Remember, this is the last part and indicating that the total marks that we had according to the question is 40 marks. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. Let's meet again in the next video.